Hey there, it's Chris from Redbeard Videos, and I'm here to bring you a special outside the lines type of video for us here at Redbeard Videos. Now, I know it's hard to say an outside the lines type of video with my channel being about a week old and this being our second video, but it is 2020 and unusual times that it is call for unusual measures. And sometimes those unusual things are terribly sad things. See, in the grand lexicon of rock music, we've had many greats come and go in all positions of music. Some passed away in their prime, like Jimmy, Bonham, Amy, Dime, and Kurt, while others were off in their retirement years, like Squire, Ginger, Lord. Now, of course, the ones that we lose in their prime, you're never going to get new music from them in an immediate sense. And maybe you hadn't had a chance to see them in concert yet and you were going to wait until they came around the next time. Well, now there's not going to be a next time, and that's not going to happen. And that's an empty, like a real emptiness, a type of empty hurt type of feeling. Then there's the ones that cut real deep. The ones that no matter how old they were and how old you are, no matter how many albums they've put out and no matter how many times you've seen them in concert, their death is like a punch in the gut. It knocks the wind right out of you. It's like as if someone physically close to you has died. And that's where it's an oddity. It speaks to how music and sports and entertainment, it really connects to a person sometimes, right? Now, I have personally had this happen to me only 4 times in my life. 4, count them. I am in my 40s. I've only had this happen to me 4 times in my life. And 3 of them have come this year alone. I don't know what the season finale of this year is going to be, but I'm terrified to my very core. The year started off in January with Neil Peart of Rush dying of brain cancer. Then in August, legendary New York Mets pitcher Tom Seaver died. And then now, guitar god Eddie Van Halen has died of throat cancer. And it's odd to be so upset and hurt over these deaths because I've never met not single one of these guys. And none of them were actively doing anything in the public eye. Seaver retired from pitching back in 1986. Peart and Rush had retired in 2015. And as far as Van Halen was concerned, I mean, they had the reunion with David Lee Roth and all that. And I'm sure there was talks of new material coming out and all that. But I have not been a Van Halen fan since the mid-90s when Sammy Hagar left. But the thing that we're talking about with legends from the past, there's something about knowing they're there, you know? Like, it's this sort of thing that kind of links to your childhood or to an earlier time in your life. Maybe a simpler time or an easier time. And upon hearing that a person like that has died, even though they're out of the public eye for so long, it still makes you feel like you've lost something. For me, Van Halen will always be linked to the early spring, summer, and early fall times of each year, from my early teens to my late teens. Easier, simpler times. I mean, sort of, for a teenager anyway, right? But every year of my life, even since then, except for this year, 2020, because, let's face it, everybody was locked up and stayed in the house because we're all terrified of catching this disease. But that first crack of spring, like clockwork every year, the freeze thaws, the leaves start to turn green, the birds start to chirp, and you'd find me driving around in whatever bucket of bolts I have with the windows down and that VH cranking. And we can have the argument that has raged since 1986 if you want to do it, but we're not going to do it here. Dave or Sammy, right? That's the argument that's been raging since 1986. Not going to do that here because you know why? I'm here to tell you. Dave, Sammy, doesn't matter. Forget about all of it. It's all about one guy, and that's Eddie. It's always been about Eddie. The songwriting, the undeniable guitar sound, tone, prowess, and playing ability. The man changed the face of music the way Jimmy, the Beatles, and Sabbath did before him. Guitar playing would not look the way it does today if it wasn't for the great Edward Van Halen. And now we celebrate him and his music with my personal top 10. Now, I normally do top fives or whatever, and that's what I normally do. And I say normally, as I said at the top of this video, because, well, there is no normally, okay? I put out one video. It's a brand new thing. Normally, it would be fives, so I'm just going to tell you right now. That's what the normal thing is going to be, okay? But unusual times, like I said, and special occasions call for special things. So I'm doing 10 for several reasons. Mostly because I couldn't pick just 5. Like, there's just no way. It was too damn hard. Hell, I'm going with 10. I could have easily done 50. I had to stop. I literally rattled off 26 before I stopped. I said, whoa, that's 26 songs. And I had to stop myself cold at 26. So here's what I did, okay? So I took the 26 songs and I put them in a Spotify list, okay? And I ran it at random 10 times. And I compiled a list. And then I took the top 10. And whatever played the most out of those top 10 is what I got out of that 26. And then I took that top 10 and I hit the random button again. And whatever played in that order from 10 to 1, that's the order you're going to get right here. But no worries, if you want to know my complete top 26, my favorite 26 songs, I mean, I guess if I had to narrow it down to 26, if you want to know the full 26, I'm going to put the link to my Spotify page, to this list, on my Twitter page, which is @videosbeard, or on my Facebook page, which is Redbeard Videos. Simple as that. That's the channel page on Facebook. Until you can go on there at the end of this video and click on that Spotify, that link, and listen or just look at, peruse, whatever. If you don't like the songs that are on there, then that's fine. That's up to you. You can make your own list. And you can also leave a comment below this video or on any of those pages about what you think I did and did not do, or what your favorite songs are, because this is not about an argument. This is a celebration of the man, the great Edward Van Halen. So here is my personal top 10 Van Halen songs in honor of the departed Edward Van Halen. Number 10 is Little Guitars. A perfect way to start this list, actually. And it was funny that Spotify picked it as my first random song, because for whatever reason, whenever I go to the Van Halen page and I just hit random, it's always the first song to play. So I guess it makes sense that it would be the first song to come up. The intro portion to this song, which is called Little Guitars Intro, is great because it shows a different side to Eddie's ability, playing what sounds like Spanish acoustic guitar, and it's just a beautiful piece overall. The song itself has a wonderful finger-picking riff during the verses and the chorus. The vocal line in this song is great too. Great melody, just sticks with you all the way through. And this is one of the few songs that doesn't really have a stellar Eddie Van Halen signature solo whatsoever, but his guitar work is still very brilliant throughout. Man, another song with an insane guitar solo intro, but this one is the complete opposite as Little Guitars. It's very angry sounding, slap technique, harmonics everywhere, and it's this little 30 to 45 seconds of guitar work that might be amongst my very favorite ever by any guitarist. The song itself is a very heavy tune. Lyrically, Dave shows off some actual hard rock balls here vocally, and Eddie's solo on this song is one for the ages. Fair Warning was a pretty dark album overall, from the artwork and through all the songs. Having this song kick it off is a very appropriate way to start this album. And the best part of this song, though, is not an Eddie Van Halen part, but it's a David Lee Roth part. You know, the song Dreams, when 5150 came out in 1986, I was 10 years old. And this was where my education in rock music and in music as a whole really took shape, really took form. And this song hits me right in the feels every time I hear it. Even before Eddie had died, right? But especially since hearing the news of Eddie's passing, like it's real emotional. Like this song just gets me, and it's not even slow. It's like a rockin' song. But I remember when I was a kid being completely captivated by the music video featuring the Blue Angels. And now I could care less about planes and all that. Like I never became like, it was not anything indicative of anything I liked. It was just something really inspirational. It was the first song that I heard without David Lee Roth, and I didn't get it. Like I didn't understand what had happened. I thought the dude's voice had just changed. I was 10. Leave me alone, all right? But all the melody lines in the song hit me just right. More than maybe any song I've ever heard, honestly. They're very, I know probably millions of songs. And there's something about Sammy's vocal lines and the words he's saying, and they're just very hopeful and uplifting. Eddie's key work in this song and his guitar lines are just perfection. The guitar solo in this song is also another one for the ages, and you can say that about probably 85% of all Van Halen songs. Perfect hit of a rock song for its time, and honestly, if you listen to it now lyrically and musically, it's one that we should really be listening to in 2020, don't you think? Okay, so the opening track of OU812, Sammy Hagar's second album with Van Halen, wasn't even really a song that I liked when I first heard it. I remember when I first heard it, I was kind of, indifferent to it. It was just boring to me. I hated the keyboard sound because it sounded nothing like 1984 and it sounded nothing like 5150, and I understand the evolution of a sound, but I wasn't a big fan. It seemed to fall flat after what still holds to be my favorite Van Halen album, which is 5150. Now, it wasn't until I saw Van Halen open with this song on the Balance tour that it clicked for me and showed me just how awesome this song is. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I've been through hell and back again. First off, we haven't talked about Alex Van Halen at all, and he absolutely kills on this song. That double bass throughout with that ride cymbal, he's got that offbeat ride cymbal and that snare. He's doing all kinds of stuff with his hands, and the double bass is going the whole time. Fantastic work by Alex on this song. Eddie, of course, shines in all facets of this song, as he always does. Another classic guitar solo, of course. And again, I know the keyboard work is what ultimately sent DLR packing and the big split between David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen. But Eddie Van Halen is really very good at the key work, at the piano stuff. So a lot on 5150, a lot on OU812, it shows, and it shows in this song. Really won me over lyrically, though. That's something that is an oddity in this song, because Van Halen, they're not really big on deep, meaningful lyrics. Usually, they're meaningful. They have a lot of passion and feeling. It's usually love stuff, or, during the David Lee Roth days, it was more about partying and all that. But during the Sammy days, it got to be about love and all that, and that's all great too. But it might be one of the deepest true messages that VH throws out there, when it's talking about self-love and all the problems of the world and things of that nature. So it really talks about that, and it's really a shining moment lyrically for Van Halen. Stop looking up, start looking in. You, the old best friend, stand up and say, hey, this is I honestly don't have anything to say about this song other than what the hell with that riff. It's arguably one of the most badass rock riffs in the history of all of music. It's one of those riffs that within 3 notes of hearing it, I'm cranking the damn radio every time. every time without fail. The only other note that's worth pointing out, in my opinion, because we already know about the awesomeness of this song as a whole, it's going to be the first time on this list that we clearly hear Michael Anthony's trademark contribution to Van Halen. Look, Michael Anthony's a solid bassist. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. When you have to keep up with the likes of the Van Halen brothers, both on drums and on guitar, you're doing something solid. But he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do any kind of basic gymnastics, let's be real. But his legit trademark for Van Halen is those high vocals, those backing vocals, and you can't mistake it. More than any other band that I've ever heard, I can hear Michael Anthony's voice loud and clear all the time, and it's a legit trademark for Van Halen. Like, it's one of the calling cards for this band, in my opinion, and that is Michael Anthony's real contribution to this band, in my opinion. Again, another song that doesn't really need a ton of explanation. It's possibly one of the most infectious songs I've ever heard. It's fun, it's happy, it screams summertime in the sun with your friends and your favorite people, or a nighttime gathering at your favorite place, even hanging out in a parking lot, which is something Sammy Hagar talks about in the song Summer Nights. When times were simple. Remember that? 2019. I digress. A really heavy, oddball song for this era of Van Halen. This goes back to the Van Halen hard rock side, and there's a lot of interesting things going on in this song. First and foremost, I love DLR's vocal performance on this song, especially "Have You Seen Junior's Grades?" But what comes after that may be one of the most ripping, badass guitar solos of the great Edward Van Halen's career, in my opinion. One of my all-time faves.
Have you seen Junior's Grades?
The opening riff is possibly what I'll always remember from this song, but what really gives this song a really odd, stick out like a sore thumb feel is the sound of a slight organ that's playing underneath the whole song and even gets a little bit of a solo in the middle. What is that? I mean, it's a random oddity that I don't think appears in any other VH song ever, but it works here. So, makes this song unique. All right. I can hear the collective groan here all across the internet, whoever's watching this. This might be one of the most maligned, overplayed Van Halen songs ever, and I'll agree that in 1991-92, you couldn't get away from this song even if you tried. Okay, I was tired of it too, but it still shows up on my list. Hell, it was even in a Pepsi commercial. Just so obnoxious at the time, but try to listen to it now. Like, give yourself a chance, okay? Like, pop it on, give it a listen nearly 30 years later. Really? It's been 30 years. Damn, I'm old. Given time and space, this song really is a pretty damn good pop rock song. It features arguably Eddie Van Halen's best piano work of his whole career, which, I'm sorry, doesn't get enough love in his career. I've already spoken about this in an earlier song. It just doesn't get enough play. I'm sorry. People don't. It's because of the feud with David Lee Roth, and people think he's the greatest guitarist of all time, and that's all they associate him with. But he's a great songwriter. He probably writes a lot of his stuff on piano, and it shows. He plays it damn well. But Sammy Hagar owns this song. The video was great as well. Sammy's vocal performance is great. The lyrics are amazing. And a lot like Dreams, it's another song that lyrically is painfully relevant today and really needs to be heard. It deserves the love that it's getting on this list, whether you think it's annoying or not. Sorry. Yes. The one that started it all. Do I really have to say anything about Running with the Devil? David Lee Roth owns this song. Let's just put it right out there. This song being the first track on the first album. Whoever came up with that idea, brilliant. Just brilliant. I don't know if it was Ted Templeton. I don't know if it was the Van Halen guys. I don't know who did it. But I'm sure Gene Simmons will take credit for it somewhere because he just does that. But David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen, all these guys just absolutely annihilate on this song. And if you've ever heard the isolated vocal track elsewhere on YouTube of David Lee Roth, you need to go check it out. It's fully worth your time, I assure you. As for the rest of the song, Eddie shines all over this track. His harmonics, the solos, a stellar riff that has stood the test of time. My teenage son even and his band play this song. You want to talk about cross-generational effect? That's Eddie Van Halen right there for you. Running with the Devil, all-time classic. Before we get to number one, I have a few honorable mentions for you that you'll see on my Spotify list because there were 26 favorite Van Halen songs because I could not possibly stop at 5 or 10. So here are 5 more tunes. I'm just going to throw them out there for you, 10 seconds a piece, and here we go. And then to close this list out, holy hell, from the same album, we saved the heaviest song possibly in the catalog for last. Along with On Fire, Atomic Punk has to be one of the heaviest Van Halen songs ever. This is almost like a straight metal tune when it comes down to it. Heavy, punchy riffs, reverb-laden vocals, and Eddie's guitar work on this one. From the string slides to the harmonics and the heavy rhythms, the searing guitar solos with all that flange and echo and reverb. It's a hauntingly heavy tune and perfect for closing out this list.
Nobody rules these streets at night but me, the Atomic Punk.
And that's going to do it for our list. And even though I sound joyous, I have to tell you that I was absolutely devastated when I heard the passing of Edward Van Halen. It was very sad. And as I had said at the top of this video, it's one of those things that it's inexplicable. It doesn't make sense. I've never met Eddie Van Halen. I've never even come close to meeting Van Halen. I never even had really good seats. I saw Van Halen live 6 times, and I've never had better than, maybe 30 or 40 rows back on the floor. So it's not even like I had a chance to reach up or grab a pick or anything, but his music touched my life, and his influence has influenced my own children, my own listening tastes and patterns and bands that I listen to. I'm fully aware that even though I'm fully a progressive rock guy and a prog metal guy, and that's what I'm into personally, I bet that at least 50% of those guys are influenced by Eddie Van Halen, if not more. So, this music brings me joy. Van Halen brings me joy. And I hope it brings you joy, and I hope this list brings you joy as well. Please come back and check out the channel Redbeard Videos more often. We're going to have so much more going forward. I don't want to selfishly promote on a tribute video like this, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to say at VideosBeard on Twitter, Redbeard Videos on Facebook. Go check it out. We'll have more of these countdown type lists and other things, but we're not going to get into that now. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. Our deepest condolences and feelings go out to friends and family, the people who are actually very close to Eddie Van Halen. Our thoughts go out to you, and thank you for watching.
Happy birthday to you.